and welcome to today's edition of Rabbi Ron in the House. In Leviticus, it talks about the different offerings that were part of the worship among the people of Israel in the Tabernacle. One of the offerings was the peace offering or the fellowship offering. In my Pentateuch and Haftorah that I got from my rabbi when I celebrated my bar mitzvah, it says this, that the peace offerings or thank offerings were a sacrifice made in fulfillment of a vow or in gratitude for benefits received or expected. It would thus be an occasion when a man seeks and obtains peace with his Creator. In this peace offering there was an inherent feeling of joyousness or some important event in connection with family or the individual person. Now there was some of the offering was set aside for the priest that was officiating during this worship. The rest of it was there for the person who was bringing the offering to share then with some family and close friends. It promoted, it says, the feeling of solidarity in the nation of Israel or in the family. And it also pointed to dependence upon God for protection and for all the blessings of life. And so they would have an offering, and then the person who would bring the offering would then gather together with family and friends, people that he loved, and would share a meal together. Because a meal is not just a meal, it's not just eating food and having drink to satisfy the nutritional needs of our human body. But having a meal, sitting around the table, is a time to engage in fellowship and building of the relationship that we have with one another. The Lord's table, think of that. Over time, the Lord's table now for most people is developed into a ritual that is done in the sanctuary with just a little cracker and a little sip of juice. But that's not the way it was in 1 Corinthians in the New Testament. And we see among the early believers, they had the Lord's Supper. It was an entire meal. And where did it come from? The Passover, which was not just a teaching, but it was a teaching done over the dinner table. And there was teaching, but when the time for the meal came, there was a break in the teaching, and people would engage in conversation. They would share in their lives and develop relationship and get closer together. In Revelations chapter 3, Yeshua says, "Here I am. I stand at the door and I knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him and he with me." Yeshua understood that having a meal was not just a time to meet the nutritional needs of your body, but it was a time of gathering together with friends and people that you love, to share your life, to engage in conversation. Ask, how was your day? What are you looking forward to doing later in this day? Getting connected, enjoying each other's company. That's what a meal was about, both amongst family and friends and with the Lord. So I want to challenge you and encourage you to keep that in mind. Don't let the Lord's table become some ritual in a sanctuary, but let it be over a table like the early believers, engaging, sharing your life. And remember that as well, the Lord, Yeshua himself, is knocking and saying, "Please invite me in. I see the beautiful table you have set. I want to be an invited guest. I desire to spend time with you and share in your life." Do this with the Lord. Do this with friends. And with that in mind, it's time for me to go. Not just because I've run out of things to talk about, but what I'd like to do is just to spend a few minutes with my wife, who right now is on the other side of that camera. And I'd like to now just take a few moments and share some herbal tea and ask her about her day and what she's looking forward to. And so thanks for joining me. Until next time, this has been Rabbi Ron in the House.